what's up, my perfect little pineapple chutneys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Snapshot, I don't think you're ready for all of this jelly, so instead, we're going to be taking a look at both the Baza Prime as well as the Aksomati Prime. But before we do, I did want to give you a little bit of an interesting tutorial that I think might help you with the rest of your Prime farming journeys. Alrighty, so I know that this is a strange jump into a very sparse looking site. However, for those of you guys who know exactly what this is, I'm sure you've gotten some great use out of it. But for those of you who have absolutely no clue what the hell is going on, let me be the first to officially introduce you to warframe.com/drop tables. And I'm actually going to go ahead and run you through how to use it today. So if you see this video idea floating around, you let them know exactly where it came from, okay? Now, I did want to go ahead and read you something so you didn't have to read it yourself, so you kind of get an idea of what is going on with this. This is automatically generated from our internal data, but this data comes with no guarantees. Do not expect it to be comprehensive for how complex the game is. The list will be maintained by an automated process combined with manual publishing with updates, not all hotfixes. We will update often, and new game systems may or may not be covered here. This list can be discussed here, and I'll actually go ahead and link this down in the description box below. Know a free-to-play game that provides official drop rates in a different way? We'd love to know. So basically, this is access to where everything drops in Warframe, and they tend to update it with every single one of the big updates. So I want to go ahead and show you how to use this real quick. As you guys know, I am on a desktop right now. So what I'll actually do is Control F, and you'll notice that there's a little bar that pops up at the top. Now, one of the recent items that I've been looking for is an upgraded version of hull weave for my railjack. Now, I can actually just type in hull, and you'll notice that down the side, you'll see all these little oh, you can't see my freaking mouse thingy. Anyway, if you look on the right side of your screen, you can see there's little notches, and it'll actually show you where all of the different things marked with hull is. However, if you kind of look up in the top corner next to where I've typed hull, there's actually arrows that go up and down, and you can actually jump from one hull weave to the next. And it'll actually list out, the mod drop chance. As you can see, Cannon Battery has a mod drop chance of 10%, and 37% of that drop chance is going to be a common for hull weave. I can go ahead and jump to the next one, and we can see it also drops from the Cosma Tikitis. And you can keep jumping around and taking a look at all of the different places that it drops. And you'll know, because it's lifted up in the top corner where you've searched it, that there are 7 different items or articles that have the word hull in there. Now, for this specific purpose, I know a lot of people are looking for like Baza Prime relics. What relic is that going to be? Or let's say the Aksomati Prime. So I can go ahead and type in Aksomati, and I can type in Prime. Now, as you can see right here, we've got some things highlighted. So the Axi A8 relic has the Aksomati Prime link, and it's a rare. So as you can see, as we kind of go through all of this, anything that is marked with the Aksomati, you can actually see what relics they are in, just in case you wanted to go ahead and get all of the information ASAP. So as of now, this is up to date and will provide you with all of the info on what relics you need for the Aksomati, Avara Prime, as well as, what is the other one? Baza Prime. So just in case you guys ever want to go ahead and figure out where something drops because you have no clue, this is something that is pulled from Warframe itself, like its own databases, and then they just manually kind of like push it through into this very, very sad looking document. So again, I'm going to go ahead and leave this linked down in the description box below. I hope that this proves to be helpful for you in the future, just in case you have any questions whatsoever. So I guess we'll just pop into the regular part of the video again. Now, as many of you guys are aware, I am nowhere near responsible enough to stay on top of what items get vaulted, what items don't get vaulted, what relics they come from, and what new relics get added in. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave links down in the description box below to the Wikipedia, as well as that warframe.com/drop tables, so that you guys can go ahead and take a look for yourself. However, if you are curious, the Baza Prime does require Mastery Rank 10 to craft, and I do want you to be aware of the fact that it is just Mastery Rank 10, and then of course we have the Aksomati coming in at Mastery Rank 12. But if you don't want to deal with any of that, you can always pick it up in Avara Prime Access while it's still around, and if you have money. So kicking things off, we have the Baza Prime. This rapid fire classic is the Orokin engineered definition of silent pinpoint lethality. And let me tell you right now, they're not joking. This thing has absolutely no recoil whatsoever, and I kind of love it. However, when it comes up against its non-prime variant, you'll see that there isn't that much of a shift. So its critical chance jumps from 26 up to 28%, so only 2. That's kind of, its critical multiplier has not shifted whatsoever. Its fall off, however, has been improved from a base of 22 up to 34 and jumping up from 30 meters all the way to 60. So you've got a little bit more of fall off distance there where it does not feel as bad. The magazine has jumped from 40 to 60. The reload speed has gone from 1.4 to 1.1. And I mean, it's already super fast. I don't know if I feel that much of a difference. And its status chance only went up 4% from 10% to 14. I do also want to make note, this is a silent submachine gun, so keep that in mind. Like, you can go ahead and be in Avara's Prowl and not break stealth with using this weapon. The other thing that I did want to make note is I'm very, very sad because the base damage did not increase whatsoever. Now, let's go ahead and equip this, and we'll talk about why I sound so disappointed. Now, I was really, really excited for Baza Prime, mainly because of the fact that, number one, I really love how the weapon feels. It's very similar to my love for the Bratton Prime. That feels so good to fire, and this one does as well. Now, as you can see right here, as long as you are in kind of like a decent range for it, because remember, this does have fall off, you can inflict a ton of status and get a lot of slash procs on the enemy, but as you can see, you kind of have to let him bleed out or else you're going to chew through a lot of ammo. And I'm kind of paranoid right now that I'm down to 1 mod slot, but let's take a look at it real quick. Because I was playing around with this earlier with the ribbon and I removed it and I kind of altered the build a little bit. But as you can see, what it's really, really good at doing is like pinpoint accuracy. Like, I'm literally, like, my cursor is not moving whatsoever. It's fantastic. And you can apply a ton of slash procs on there. Now, let's take a quick look at the build real fast. I played around with several different builds on this thing, and they all kind of feel the same, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I've taken Vigilante armaments, and I've gone ahead and swapped in, like, an Argon scope, and it kind of feels the same, too. Like, I don't know. I've tried out a bunch of different builds, and I can't make it feel any better. Now, of course, this does have a ribbon slot on it. Or not a ribbon slot, but it's got a decent ribbon, what is it called? A decent ribbon, what's the D word, you know what I mean, the way that it's influenced by ribbons. So I do have a ribbon that's ready to go because I absolutely love my old Baza, so I'm just probably gonna knock that out and then toss on the ribbon and have a slightly upgraded version of the Baza. Now, for me, I get it. It just jumped from Mastery Rank 7 up to Mastery Rank 10. Mastery Rank 10 doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a super duper strong weapon, but like there's a part of me that had just wished that maybe they would have like boosted up the IPS a little bit, or maybe even shifted the IPS a little bit more into slash to really promote that slashiness of it. But all in all, I'm just kind of like, oh, I wish it was more, and I know that maybe that's asking for too much. Just giving you the stats on my ribbon, just so that you guys can take a quick gander at that, because I know that some people are going to ask about it. But the disposition, that was the D word I was looking for, is halfway decent on it. It doesn't feel like they nerfed it much at all. But if I'm going to be honest, this doesn't feel like a huge upgrade from the original. However, it does synergize quite well with Avara, and the fact that, you know, she can be in Prowl and she can fire it without basically messing up her Prowl whatsoever. Moving along, we have the Aksomati Prime. The elegant Aksomati precisely refined to this, their ultimate manifestation. I feel like whoever wrote this should probably work for like a cologne ad or for like a high-end chocolatier, and they could go ahead and spill that luxury into all of their ad campaigns. But as you can see, the accuracy has dropped on this from 15.4 down to 12.5. That's not necessarily the end of the world, because I believe 6 16 is what they use for bows, so it's still going to be a fairly accurate weapon. Now, critical chance and critical multiplier have not changed whatsoever, which I wish that maybe they bumped up the critical multiplier a little bit, but they have upped the fire rate, so, you know, it kind of gets into Twin Grakata territory. Not all the way there, but you got there. The magazine also jumps up from 70 to 80, which is quite nice. The status chance has got probably the biggest boost out of all of them, going up 10% from 8 to 18, and then it does have a increase in its base damage, so it's got a little bit of a bump, a bit more of a bump than the Baza Prime. Now, tried out different builds with this, and you know, this is one of the things that I have to say is when you're playing around with builds and then you find a really good one and you can feel that it's markedly better than everything else, that's how I felt about this, and that means that I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that work when I roll a Riven for these, because I do have a Riven that is sitting there, and these, oh, can I tell you, they have a little bit of a wind up. They are quite accurate, but it's just nice. It's just nice. In my head, I'm not 100% sure if these are going to completely replace my axe stilettos, but they might just. The axe stiletto has a little bit more of leaning into status chance. This one leans more into crit, but like with a little, I really like this. And that's why I was saying, you know, one's Mastery Rank 10, these are Mastery Rank 12, so you can definitely feel the difference in performance. And this was the build that I ended up going, oh shit, this is the build we're doing. So as you can see, I do have, like, the double armor strip in there. Oh, it's so good. I was scared that the status chance that we have on it was not going to be enough. Because of the fact that it is lower than the axe stilettos. I believe the axe stilettos, actually, I guess they're not that far off, because the axe stilettos kind of like get into the 90%, but whew, these babies are quite nice. So let's take a look at the build real quick. As you can see, I am using a hybrid crit status build, and I've put in corrosive and fire. And it's just with, basically what happens is the fire and the corrosive work together to strip down the defenses of an armored target, and then that critical chance comes in because it's got, you know, that's the thing. Crit has a lot of punch. It's very good at taking out enemies that don't have a lot of defenses on them, so it can really get in there and deal damage. But when you have really, really intense enemy defenses and you don't have any way to kind of like whittle that down, crit just kind of flounders because it falls short when their defenses are really high. But because of the fact that you can pull off a nice hybrid with this and really wear away at that armor, ooh, it's just so juicy. And the fact that, like, you know, we could go ahead and toss in like an Exilus weapon mod, I'm kind of down for that because ammo mutation, just saying. However, I do have a Riven for this thing that I'm going to end up rolling, which it's actually pretty good on its own. It's got a lot of critical chance. It's got slash in there as well, and then it's got negative reload speed, which I don't really like because it brings it up to like 2.6 or something, and you guys know I get a little bit meh when it comes to that. However, I did want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. I did try this with Augur Pact instead of Scorch. Didn't feel as good. I also tried it with Hydraulic Crosshairs. I played around with a lot of these builds, and those other builds felt very similar. So I'm just giving you guys the heads up on that. Like, all of those ones felt very similar in, like, time to kill. But this one just went bloop, and I was like, oh! Well, we're just going to have to roll a Riven that somehow fits into this kind of like status fire world, or maybe status and one of these other elements. That video should be coming up sometime soon because I'm really, really excited. So all in all, the Baza Prime to me was not necessarily the most fantastic, if I'm going to be frank, but the Aksomati Prime are definitely a winner in my book. Let me know, which one were you the most excited for? Which one do you really want to get your hands on now that you've seen them all like tested out? Or let me know if there's something that I was missing with the Baza Prime that it just needs to kind of like push it over the edge, or is it just as mediocre as I kind of feel like it is? I mean, just could have given me maybe an IPS shift, just a little bit, just put it all in a slash, I don't know. Regardless, toss all of your feelings down in the comments below, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.